Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I've been out of touch. My son is here from out of state. So as I get time, I'll go through messages and stuff like that, but I just have not really had a lot of time. I think pretty much everybody has seen, unless you're new here, Candace did an interview, and maybe it's just me. Brandy, was that kind of a goddamn jaw dropper for you?
Yeah, it was. For one, I was really kind of shocked that she finally did come on camera and talk. But I also noticed that her and Dawn, their stories weren't really jiving together. You know what I mean?
But I mean, how can they? Because he only knows what he's been told. And God knows how many stories. How many stories do we have now, guys? Hi, Ladybug. Hi, Barb. Hi, Maddie.
Isn't it like 4? Well, no, I would say 5 because Candace, the last interview, like it was a totally different one. Like all of a sudden, Candy actually meant Candy. And she said that Summer was getting. Didn't she also say that Summer went with him to get the piece of candy?
Right. I mean, what I got was we're back to planting flowers. Hi, Mrs. Slinky Moon. We're back to planting flowers. She went to her grandma to get candy. Hi, Charlene. She wanted to see her brothers. Candace said, watch Summer. And on camera, she said 2 minutes. Hi, Squishy. Right. So I'm going to let everybody pile in and we'll go back to that. I'm going to start playing the interview as everybody comes in. Is that all right? Oh, Whitney just got sound.
A lot. I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
All right, can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay, you guys just heard her say she's convinced someone lured her away. She didn't just walk off. The very first story we heard from Candace in the news articles, she was fighting with people that Summer walked out barefoot. Okay? Hi, God's love. She walked out barefoot, but now she's convinced. I'm not here to pick this mother apart. I think that she was under the influence of something. I mean, considering her daughter's missing, I can't even imagine what it would be. I mean, why was it said that Summer was seen walking away from the home? Well, God's love, that was put in from Candace. Remember that, Brandy?
Yes.
When she was in the news articles, commenting back and forth with people saying she walked out barefoot. She said she had on a pink shirt, gray pants, which kind of fits the picture we saw coming back from the swimming hole.
I thought that too, because I was eyeballing that picture. It fits what she was wearing.
And that she walked out barefoot. Yeah, well, Miss Slinky Moon, we've all been kind of wondering that ourselves.
Well, see, and the first time it started, it was just grandma and mom that went to go get a piece of candy. That was the first in the text. It was me and her, or me and Candace went to get a piece of candy. All of a sudden, now it was Summer was with them during that.
Right. I just don't like all the different stories, and I haven't been shy about that from the beginning.
And I don't blame you. I also see, like, if they were on any kind of med, which Candace she is prescribed some meds, but if they were doing anything extra on top of that, I can't even. Their memory is shit. That's just the fact. They have no idea what happened.
Like maybe like kind of like a blackout, like you've been out in the yard,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
flowers,
It
and you're
can
like, no, I
happen.
don't know what happened.
Like I'm in recovery. I do have a past with pain pills. And they're saying that's what she's prescribed and everything. If you take a lot of those, you can have loss of memory, where time's concerned.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's crazy sad. I just hopefully she's conveying this to the TBI, saying, look, I'll take the child endangerment, but you figure out everything, because I've got a bad hip, my mom's got a bad knee. This is what was going on.
Right.
There's no sense of urgency to find a kidnapped baby ever from them. Well, it's kind of funny, God's love. I'm going off topic. I'll go back to the interview in a second. Because TBI found a baby from an Amber Alert. They believe, okay, speculating, they're looking for the father. The father killed the mother, and they found a baby, Braylon Hunter Clark. So the TBI does not screw around. They do not screw around. When they have they're going to get to the bottom of it. So that's good news. Okay, that's good news. But the fact that we have mom and dad speaking in past tense, I don't believe in this. That's how people there talk. I'm sick of hearing that. Donald Wells, I lose hope. Donald Wells, he's talking about Mexico. He's going into like old scriptures. Have you seen the Old Testament being quoted, Brandy?
Yes.
God. Oh, I agree, Steph. All right, hang on.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma. And she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over.
Okay, what's the piece of candy?
Well, that's what's funny, because in Grandma's messages, it's kind of alluded to it being some sort of substance, because when she says that, the response to that was, were y'all off the shits that day? And she sent a thumbs up, which off the shits means, are you high, drunk, rolling, anything like that? Like rolling means, like, I think they said being pill high. I've never heard that term. I just learned it. But that's what that means. And basically, when asked that, Grandma sent the thumbs up. So at that time, you were it does, you tend to think that it's drugs, but now all of a sudden it's thrown in that Summer was getting a piece of candy too. And that's never been said before.
Right. So normally when we're doing things in detail, and Brandy, I know how you and I go back and forth, we're down to a gnat's ass, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if my son's like, hey, I'm going to get something to eat, I can tell you what he ordered, what time the order came. Oh, he had a plate of nachos. I wouldn't say, Grandma gave him candy. Well, candy's not that specific. You got a Snicker bar? You have a Jolly Rancher? What was in Grandma's candy bowl? She keeps where's the detail? My mom keeps a candy bowl sitting there, and the kids like to go over, and they like to get, some M&Ms, a piece of candy. That is, I don't know why that struck me as weird. Hi, meow. Yeah. All right. I'm probably picking that apart too much. It's just when a child is missing and they're so unspecific, I don't like it. I mean, do you know what I mean, Brandy?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And like I said, what makes it even more fishy is this is the first time that that story has been out there. Like I said, this makes like 5 different stories now.
My favorite was Candace going on a run.
I
I was
that
never
bad
going to
hip
get
and
off of
all?
that one.
Over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
So she's got specifics about that. She knew exactly what was going on when she handed Summer to her minor sons.
Which again, that's the first time we've heard that too.
I mean,
Unless I missed that part in somewhere else, which I could have, but I don't think I have because I've literally covered everything the past couple of days trying to make, trying to see so I didn't misspoke on it.
oh, Hellraiser, you're right. I'd be crying, pleading, and everything like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I might have been, in the hospital and just got home, like Vanessa Gillen's mom. I mean, she couldn't even cope. She was like laying in the bed when her daughter went missing. I don't know what's going on with Candace. I don't get all the different stories. I don't get why when Summer's out of her care, she's got all the specifics. I took her to the porch. I gave her to her brothers. Watched Summer. And then like a doting mother, she ran right back in to check on Summer. But we don't know what. It's funny she doesn't mention the swimming hole or the minor child in this.
That, and doesn't she say something along the lines that it was 2 minutes had passed?
Yeah, I've got the 2 minutes written down.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I thought. Like the only 2 minutes had passed. So now you're saying that there's only a 2-minute window that this child disappeared in from watching her walk into the house, because that's verified, to the boy saying that she went downstairs and then she's gone.
Who the hell?
Like, to me, that right there would have taken 2 minutes.
Yeah. Good God, it took me 5 just to get my coffee today. 2 minutes.
You don't want to know how long it takes me.
Dear God. So, Brandy, Batman got Summer?
It doesn't add up. Which, like, after the interview is over and we get into more stuff, it gets even crazier.
I mean, absolutely nuts. 2 minutes. You tell me who can get in your house without the boys who were sitting there watching TV. Remember, they're watching TV.
Right. This basically means the person would have had to have went in through the basement. That's what that story would mean, is that this person had to have gained access through the basement, and Mom didn't see him, Grandma didn't see him, the boys didn't hear anything.
And in 2 minutes, got her out.
Right.
No. Maddie says aliens. I'm going with Batman.
She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are.
Okay, so she's calling herself a liar because 3 days after Summer went missing, I'm going to say 3 or 4. I don't want to put it specific because I don't have it pulled up right now. I don't have the screenshot pulled up. She said she had gone on a run. And again, that could have been a run to the grocery store, a run to the bank. We don't know. But now she's
run to go get some more candy.
We don't know. But now she's saying she doesn't walk or run around there. I don't blame her because of the snakes, bears, just basically the wild.
Right, yeah.
Ooh, Hellraiser, good point.
Around here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. And I don't know. It seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her head
back and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But
why would the neighbors not look around their own house? Elusive, right, Whitney? I don't know. Does anybody buy that the neighbors are not searching their properties? The Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has asked over and over, check your buildings, check your property, check around. He's like, you're not, Captain Poop said, you're not looking for an adult. You're looking for a tiny 5-year-old girl. So when Dad is sitting there saying they ought to get a search warrant, I don't know why they won't. What makes him think that the neighbors aren't cooperating? Anyone?
See, I was thinking, sometimes no matter what the circumstances are, some people just don't care. I can actually see some neighbors being assholes like that and be like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to check my property, because some people are just horrible people,
Like they don't care if there's a 5-year-old on their land?
I honestly, it would not surprise me one bit.
Nothing surprises me. And I don't know that I'm buying this whole thing about Summer and her hair. Who lets a kid have
I'll be
clippers?
honest, I'm conflicted on that because I've seen little girls want their head shaped like their brothers. I have.
Oh.
And I kind of believe the haircut story a little bit, because I've seen a couple of pictures where I even showed Mitch. I'm like, oh my God, they need to put the scissors up, because it was so choppy. Like you could literally see like so much of it had been cut off. But apparently that's a pattern, that every time she gets a hold of a pair of scissors, she cuts her hair. So that goes back again to the parents. Like, why aren't you putting the damn scissors up? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what's going on, then why aren't you putting the scissors up? Hang on. I got to mute. My home phone's ringing real quick.
Whitney, I'm sorry. I'll search, but I ain't letting my crazy random neighbors in here. No, I agree. But no, I get that people are very selfish and they don't, some are very selfish. They don't want to get involved, especially when it's something this big. They don't want to get involved. But I would think if there was a 5-year-old missing, you'd kind of, especially with a reward and everything, you'd want to help out. Even be the hero. But yeah, people are weird, man.
And it's also the whole "don't speak to cops" thing. They could have that little motto in their head too. I've seen a lot of cases where people just will not speak up.
I agree, Crime Time, especially in a small community, especially as church driven as they are, with the church speaking out so much. There might be a few, and I hope the ones that don't. I hope Summer's not there, and if she is, and if she could have been helped, God be with them. That's all I can say.
And Hellraiser, I wouldn't go into the woods to search. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people are really pissed off that the public isn't allowed to help search, but they actually have a good reason as to why they shouldn't be out there, because the general public are clumsy idiots. I can seriously see them stumbling over evidence, picking it up, completely contaminating it, and messing up the whole thing.
Could you imagine? I was taken aback by that too, because in a lot of cases they're like, they want community volunteers.
Right.
But it actually makes sense when the sheriff, he broke it down. He was like, we don't want to be looking for you.
Right.
When we have people that are professionals doing this. Whitney, what's an unrealistic, unreasonable request? Oh, but he said for neighbors to search each other's homes. No neighbor.
No.
Can you imagine, Brandy? You're laying on the couch watching Netflix and somebody's like, I gotta search your house, Brandy. Summer could be here. I mean, come on.
There's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
That means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people. I mean, and we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere. But
so now they've got really good neighbors, but now he's wanting people. But now he's saying like they should get search warrants to search. You see what I'm saying? This is like a buzzsaw. It won't stop.
And honestly, they should have already had search warrants to search, in my opinion.
I kind of thought that too, especially with what she put in writing about how Summer walked out the back door barefoot, and she couldn't have gone too far, especially in that terrain that even professional search and rescue are having issues with.
Right.
Delilah, I mean, if anyone around there has drones, I don't know that the neighbors have drones, but drones have certainly, been used.
The most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without. Thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl." And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired. But I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, well, I'm sorry about that. It's just
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House, My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
She liked to think of herself as a princess, and and all that, like all young girls do. And
She loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa
and I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there. And I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church, or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home, and I hope she gets to be with our church family again.
Our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked up to
when
women that were.
She come to that church, she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
was pretty,
yeah,
beautiful.
She looked up to those kind of women. She, they were the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it, but she looked up to them. She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for their money, and there was times, we'd be, at our boys like, don't do this, don't do that. And next thing you know, the stick would come up and just whop them, and be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
She typical girl.
When they get on a line, she'd put them in line.
Well, we're using past tense again. Loved, was the boss. I mean, I find it odd. Maybe some people don't. I just find it odd.
I think it is odd. I mean, constantly referring to her in past tense. It's like they know. It is like they know.
But even when Donald said, people jump all over me when he says she likes the song Godzilla. Is it the Godzilla song by Eminem? Okay, look, if that's what they let her listen to, I don't care. I'm just kind of wondering. I was wondering what they were talking about. Yeah, I agree, Hellraiser. But when he says, people jump all over me because I'm saying past tense, he goes, I apologize for that. But he continues to do it.
Yeah.
When they're speaking about other things, I hear them talk in present tense. I mean, has anyone noticed that?
Yes, I have.
No, I mean, if that's the song they're talking about, Hellraiser, Godzilla by Eminem, that's the only one that I could find. No, that's not for kids. No, that is not for kids. Not at all.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. She loved to run. She just loved to run, and she could pull herself up on that swing, her full body weight with her two hands, and she can do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she at school yet?
No, she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
She's been. We did all the what?
I took care of everything.
Yeah.
I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school ready for this year.
I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my heart like she has, because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands, and I love her with all my heart. I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her, and you know, and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please, please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. That she's my biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times
Did
the
he just
boys would be
correct
inside
himself
and
from
we'd be
saying
like, "Where's
loves
Summer?
to
Why'd you leave
loved?
her out there alone?" Go.
Yeah, you caught that too.
Yeah, he literally just said she loves loved. Like he corrected the present tense to put it to the past tense.
It might be the way that he talks, because she's not there physically, or it could be that he's just got his mindset. I mean, he has said, "I'm losing hope." And I get what they're saying. They're trying to be, say the right thing for the cameras. They obviously weren't well prepared for this.
Yeah, they don't want to be in front of the camera. You can tell that.
Well, but I mean, the whole, I hope someone finds mercy and brings her back to us. That's, yeah, I mean, one can hope, but we're way out there now. And we've had so many different stories.
Go get Summer now, and that's happened over and over again. And we would come out, and she would always be close by, but we was always coming. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person, and
She loved to be outside.
And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything. Love nature, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I appreciate it, y'all, for the good things you say and your prayers. That's awesome.
When my sister went missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know.
Well, she knows where she was when her sister went missing.
All of what happened or what did happen. But I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope. And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, so I start thinking in past tense. Sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
Tonight.
All right. I agree, Kane. I mean, the blasé is what I don't get. I mean, we don't need to see the drama. We don't need to see the show, them, begging and crying and, bring her back, bring her back, bring her back. Maddie, I don't know. Do we think Dad truly believes his wife's story, or do we believe he's helping to hide the truth? I don't know. I'm kind of going with what he originally said. He was at work. She called, Summer's missing. He said, hang up and call 911. This interview cut off a little bit. Unless I missed it. Brandy, did you hear the part where Candace said this whole thing is this smothers her?
I don't think I did.
Okay, then it wasn't in this interview because this was like an excerpt. But I mean, what mother would say this smothers me? It's not about you. Delilah. Okay, where the hell were they planting these plants? They were like in planters outside. They were succulents.
Weren't they just like directly behind the door or something, or beside the door? Like they weren't that far.
It's very close proximity to
Like
where
even Grandma's camper is almost right next. Like it's very close to the house.
right. I guess the TBI tip line is flooded with people on Facebook groups that are calling from places that are nowhere near Tennessee, letting them know what they think. Not a good move. Not a good move. Why anyone would do that, I will never know.
People do way too much, and they're not happy no matter what. They're not happy. You're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Like when Harley Dilly disappeared, his mom was on social media and was crucified, and come to find out he was found in a chimney, and they're saying that there was no foul play, and she was crucified for that. But Candace and them don't speak on, or Candace doesn't speak on social media, and she's crucified for that. Like there's no win-win sometimes. You can't please them.
Oh, you're never going to make the public happy. You're never going to make people happy. Trust me, I have learned that the hard way. Never going to happen. Maddie, how odd is it there is a 911 call. All right, so what do we know about the mother of the boy that went swimming with them earlier that day? Because I have a ton of comments where people are like on her page.
Oh, she's a mess.
Oh,
there's a whole, like, aside from Summer missing, there's a whole freaking clusterfuck over here that involves this minor, his father, his mother, and Bikers Against Abuse International Vice President Jeremy Dugan. Like that is like, it should be on Springer.
I know, you were telling me about that. Fill us in.
Yeah, like because I guess apparently the dad, Andrew Hiltz, they have joint custody with the mom having legal physical custody, but in the papers the dad is supposed to have him every summer and he has not had him, and the mom says it's because the son doesn't want to go. But the dad got Bikers Against Abuse International involved and had them go to Georgia or wherever they're at to pick up this or come from Georgia to go pick up the minor. Okay, gave him a domestic consent to travel and everything. And when he got here, or when he got there to pick up said child, mom absolutely refused to let him go, and they called the cops. And when the cops arrived, apparently mom is on a first name basis with one, was greeting him very familiar, like using his first name and all. And they ended up not being able to get the child.
And so how is that going to go down?
Right. Well, okay. So there's a Lieutenant Summy that is in this town. Like I think he is I can't remember how they described him, but he was kind of an asshole to Jeremy Dugan. And he said that Hunter wasn't leaving his jurisdiction. It didn't matter if the president of the United States told him that he had to release release Hunter, that child was not leaving. Right.
Oh,
well,
it really worked that way, but okay.
Right.
I love
that's what I said too. I was like, oh boy, he has a lot of ego there. But when I was watching this, apparently there was a Monte Carlo that was spotted in the area at the time that Summer disappeared, and Lieutenant Summy has a Monte Carlo. And now they're trying to maybe, like, I would recommend that everybody go over to Bikers Against Abuse International and watch this man's 27-minute video. It is very beneficial if you're trying to understand like things on that side of it, because it looks like it's tying into Summer if this Monte Carlo has anything to do with it.
Hellraiser, who are you talking about? Dummy is on his way out. He messed up the wrong Oh, Summy. Oh.
Yeah, Summy, because that's what Jeremy called him. He kept saying Lieutenant Dummy.
Dummy. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like we have all these side circuses going on.
Yeah, but it also looks like it ties in very much into Summer.
Now, I mean, I know there's a lot of groups that are picking up on this, and no, you're fine, Hellraiser. The mom is purposely not letting the teen go because the teen knows what happened. Well, then the mom should let him go and go to New York.
It also, okay, so in this 27-minute video, there is a law enforcement officer by the name of Cliff Evans that he was the lead detective on the Summer case, okay? He said that he was cleared from any involvement in Summer's case and could leave the state, okay? This is also in that video. So when Jeremy got close and he called again, that's when he was connected with Lieutenant Summy, who had the whole ego trip saying that they couldn't take Hunter out of the jurisdiction. And this whole time that they were live, Allison, whatever her name is, Sherry, she goes by a few different names as well, but she was on this man's live cussing him out. And then I don't know if it was her son or if she was acting like his son, but he was also on the mom's account talking mad shit to this Jeremy guy and his partner.
Dear God.
Yeah,
I watched it and I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of madness going on. But I mean, is this guy, is he affiliated with law enforcement at all? Or was he just given an escort to New York? Or what was going on there?
I think he, he has a lot of connections in that area, but I believe he just decided, I think he just decided to take this up and, help the dad. But I've looked into the dad too, and I'm not, the Bikers Against Abuse International, they have chapters in all the states, and they're legit, but Andrew isn't a good father figure either. I looked on several of his pages because he also is another one that has several Facebooks, and he's no better,
How can he be cleared if they don't know what happened to Summer? That's what I want to know.
I was wondering the same thing, but I missed the live. I only caught on to this like 2 days ago because I had time to look into stuff, but I don't know that either.
Well, I mean, Maddie, anybody that, that's on social media just spouting stuff off. I mean, I saw it in the Evelyn Boswell case, Cash Gernon. It goes on and on and on and on and on. There's nothing concrete,
Like the red truck thing yesterday is a perfect example.
They were like, it was on the radio. That could have been a trucker on a CB.
Yeah, there is so much said in social media that I really wish people would look into it, because I understand theories and speculation. I do, but before you start repeating any of it, you should go ahead and look into it. But it's like everybody has to be the very first person, I got to be the very first person to break this, whether or not I know if it's true, just so I can say I said it first. I think that's a lot to do with how people in social media are.
Oh, I agree. So Ashley Daniels has been talking to Court TV, and they're breaking down the interview. And it's pretty interesting the way they're looking at things, which basically means they just don't want any issues with the parents in case they, I don't know, contact an attorney and try to sue for slander or anything. But the other day, it was announced that the search is being scaled back. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. So again, that just makes me wonder. Well, why would Hunter not want to go to his dad's in New York?
Apparently his dad's a drunk. That's what I kind of picked up in several of the mom's comments. Again, that's just hearsay. But it could be that, or dad's strict. Who knows the real story? You know, there's two sides to that story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle of both of them.
Okay, Steph, that makes much more sense. He's not allowed to leave state if he's involved with an active investigation. Also, I heard on Unmasked that H sister said the police still have the minor H phone. Oh, I bet they do. Well, because I mean, you know, somebody.
Well, that actually makes a lot more sense, because I also read in some texts that were, you know, floating around that Hunter's dad was telling him to leave now, go now, leave now. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, like that doesn't, you know, that doesn't really jive with what the other stories are saying, you know.
Well, and have you noticed, I'm not directing anyone to this kid's social media. No one. But what I saw was his cover photo is of him and Candace. If that's not Candace, color me blind.
It looked like Candace to me.
It just looked odd. Okay.
I do believe there's a lot of inappropriate things going on between those two, just based on the, you know, the screenshots I've seen with her interacting. She's having, or they have jokes that you have no business making with a 15-year-old. This, I don't give a shit what your excuse is. You don't have any business talking to a child like that.
Oh, I saw, because he said he was in a relationship and she was kind of like with your hand or something like that.
Yeah, like
Rosie. I was like, what are you talking about? You're not on the same level as him. He is
right.
he can't even, he doesn't even have a driver's license. You've had 6 children. You're not the same. I mean, I don't care how old my children are. I don't like inappropriate anything made towards them. It's not funny. It's not a joke. It's goddamn gross. Someone works with taking teens to rehab and custody disputes. Well, I don't know. I don't know how you hold a minor if his father has visitation in another state. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea how that works. See, Maddie, and I don't know. Oh, it's Aggie. I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying, you know, well, you know, she doesn't deal with a, you know, a full card, you know, full deck of cards or whatever. Sorry. Has she ever worked? Does she work? I don't know. It's fair to discuss freedom of speech, press, blah, blah. It's important to remember Ellie has already tossed around these ideas. Well, they've already said they're watching all social media. So there's pages, which are public, lots of groups, tons of groups. So basically anything anybody puts out there, yeah, they're going to see. I mean, discussing, you know, bouncing theories back and forth. I think this happened at the swimming hole. I believe Mom when she said Summer walked out barefoot. I mean, that's a-okay, but some of this stuff is nuts. She doesn't work as per the interview. I figured she's not working now. Yeah, there was an article 5 hours ago that said both mom and dad have criminal records. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's some people that will run crazy because someone has an unpaid, parking ticket. I don't know what their criminal records are. I mean, I know that there was a domestic dispute in October because Donald came home and thought that Candace was having an affair. Still would like to know who that person was that was there. Steph, how many GoFundMe pages are there now? I knew of one. Do you know, Brandy?
I think about 5. There's like 3 or 4, plus Candace's own bank account is being pushed.
Wow. Well, drug charges for Candace. So what struck you about their interview as odd, Brandy?
That's actually like the first time that I've seen a lot of it because I've been working a lot. I think it's just the story changing again. I mean, and the fact that when they were both talking, they weren't really, their conversation or their comments about it and what went down, like if you'll listen, don't really add up with the other one. And didn't they meet in Arkansas, like Fayetteville?
Her and Donald?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard somewhere in the Ozark area, and then there was a rumor that Summer was in the Ozarks.
Right. Yeah, they were saying that somebody with a little girl with a shaved head was spotted in the Ozarks. It's now being said they're in a cult. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I would believe that.
Nah, going to the Seventh-day Adventist Church or the Baptist Church is not quite a cult. And trust me, those church members are all up in arms to find this girl. Steph, I definitely seen a few GoFundMe pages on Facebook. Yeah, Nice Seymour. Her story does keep changing. I can't keep up with them. We spoke about this last week. You've got one story when something happens. You've got one. I don't care what it is. You've got one story.
Yeah.
Unless you don't remember for whatever reason, you're lying or you're covering something up. I don't see any updates from the TBI or anything like that when they're going to update, like do another presser. I don't know. It really makes me sad when these things start to slow down because I'm afraid then like they'll never find her.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I kind of saw this coming. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that it'll be like this for a while.
Cola Babe, who are you talking about? Who should be placed in a place of safety?
They also say that there's a bunch of old wells around there, and that she could have wandered off and fell in a well. And that's why, again, they keep trying to compare a lot of it to the Harley Dilly case because of what happened with him. But like Mom said, there's a 2-minute window. So like, what did Summer do? Just take off like a shot once she was out of the basement? That just doesn't make sense either.
I would kind of put some credence in 2 minutes if we stuck with the original story of she walked out the back door with no shoes on.
Right.
In 2 minutes, she was gone.
Right. Yes. No, you're right. Like it would make a lot more sense if that would have been said in the beginning and it just kind of stayed with that story, that one story only.
But a basement, I mean, basement windows are small. They're hard for an adult to get through, or they would have to walk through the front door where the three boys are sitting there watching TV and go down the stairs. And then what? I mean, that's a lot more than 2 minutes.
Yep.
Lori. I have seen the pics of the property, and in my opinion, if Candace and her other were out planting flowers, they would have seen or heard a car or four-wheeler. They are lying, and it was only 2 minutes. I'm not going to say Dad was lying because Dad wasn't there. What, Whitney? I think your chat's slow again. Is it my Wi-Fi or what? Oh, the way the chat's rolling? I don't know. I didn't set it.
I think it's doing good on my end.
Yeah, it's fine. We have like a monsoon of rain going on right now. I mean,
oh my God, so do we. Like it is pouring outside right now.
It won't fucking stop. It's driving me crazy. I mean, like every day we've had something going on, and it's like we walk outside and it's hot as hell. And
Yep.
then it just opens up, and then it's hot as hell.
That's how it is here.
Now, Starry Night, I haven't heard anything from no one has put in concrete that Dad was at work. That's just the one story that he's never changed. He really hasn't changed any stories. It's been Mom the whole time. I mean, her stories won't stop. And I don't believe, even after this interview, I don't believe that's the last of the stories. I think we'll get another one. What do you think, Brandy?
I think we will too. Like we haven't heard the half of it. God forbid if it like goes into months. I can only imagine how many different stories there will be.
Well, once everything dies off and there's no more pressers, no more media releases, the groups aren't busy, I don't think we'll hear anything more from Mom and Dad. Then it's just truly in the authorities' hands, and then, here and there
with
something.
With Dad being almost set in the belief that she's gone, I agree with that. Like I think they'll just let it die down and not come out again and just continue living their life right there.
But when Donald even said the FBI has nothing, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe for a second that the FBI has nothing. I don't believe that TBI has nothing. If they had nothing, just my opinion, they wouldn't be scaling back the search. Oh, here's a question for you, Brandy.
What? Why are the boys still in the home? I think it's because, and I'm not saying they're wrong or right, but CPS or DCF, whatever it's called in Tennessee, I'm unsure of the term because it's different in every state, but they don't see anything wrong with that environment. That's the only thing it could be, because otherwise they would have been removed by now.
That to me is so odd because, I mean, unless they're thinking that she truly was abducted. Because if you lose sight of your child, if you have a child missing, normally there's some kind of protection for the others, especially after that interview where the primary caregiver, who is Mom, is definitely under the influence of something.
Right.
yeah, the Olsen boys are gone. And the other kids from the house are in, I don't know if they're in a foster care with other family members. I don't know, but they're not at that house. Delilah, I don't know if they have their phones. I have no idea. Seems like in a lot of cases, the phones seem to crack the case. Cola babe, I'd like to see the inside lock on the door. I want to see how somebody walked by the three boys watching TV in 2 minutes and grabbed Summer and got her out of the house and trekked through the woods with searchers out there. I mean, unless this red truck was out there, this Monte Carlo or whatever, and picked up somebody, why would you take Summer?
I honestly don't remember where it says, so now parents are not held accountable when their children go missing. I honestly, when have they though?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they're questioned because they're the first ones that are suspected.
Right. And I've seen it being debated on Facebook that when a child goes missing, that DCF will remove the other children in the home. But I can't think of any cases off the top of my head where that's happened.
The West boys, I mean, and the only reason
you're right.
I think they suspect the parents, and that's the reason they remove the other kids.
Right.
I mean, when kids go missing, I can't really think of any other cases where they just take the other kids unless they suspect the parents.
Right, exactly.
They didn't take Gannon Staunch's sisters. Could Summer really turn the locks that he stated the door was always locked? The door I saw doesn't look like something a 5-year-old could easily come in and out of, but I don't know.
I really don't either, because I know if a kid wants to get out, they'll usually find a way to get out. They'll be stacking chairs up and shit to reach a lock.
Well, and I don't know, they keep saying it's an abductor. It's an abductor. It's an abductor. I just have a hard time believing someone got in their basement. Somehow the three boys upstairs watching TV didn't hear anything and wouldn't she scream? Again, I'm speculating. Wouldn't she scream? Wouldn't she scream for her mom? Scream for candy given grandma? Scream for her brothers? Try to run up the stairs? I mean, someone was obviously grabbing her if she was abducted.
Right, yeah, they would have had to have grabbed and ran.
Without her making a noise.
Right. Also, there are more than 40 registered sex offenders living in that zip code, by the way. Like, that's a huge number right there. Just in that zip code, there is more than 40.
Good God.
And that doesn't count the ones who don't register, because the half of them don't. But if you're that would tie in with the abductor theory, and again, you would have to have very little time to get her and then start running for it.
I agree, Lori. This hasn't been verified, but 15 years old, supposedly Candace was giving alcohol to this kid when they were out swimming. That's a crime. Why is his mother not pressing charges? She even put in comments, I didn't know that she was giving him alcohol.
Yeah, that she gave him alcohol at that swimming hole. And my kids have friends of that age, and I still wouldn't hang out alone with one of my son's friends and younger daughter, and much less let my child go over to a house where a female is and go swimming with a minor child. Like, just, I don't know. But again, the minor's mom is something else too. She
Laura,
is
I heard the dad is going to press charges. Well, shit or get off the pot. You either call a report in or you don't. They're not going to go off what's on social media. That's for sure. They've got too much stuff to go through. But if they talk to this kid and he says, yeah, we were out there drinking twisted tea, they can easily do something.
Well, and also we got to remember that, like the Jeremy guy was saying, that his mom, the minor's mom, is, on a first name basis with at least one of the cops, that showed up at her house. And not only that, the police have responded to, it's either 100 calls or numerous calls. Jeremy was saying he's almost positive it was 100 calls that he heard since the family had lived there that past year. So whether it was 100 or numerous, apparently the cops they're out at that minor's home quite often throughout the year. So I guess, that just leads me to think that it's okay that they are used to this kind of thing and that no trouble will be brought to anybody for what happened.
Yeah, and I kind of think in most societies, it's really not cool to, give illegal drugs to a child. And alcohol for someone under 21 is illegal. If they obtain it themselves, someone's like, oh, I sold something from my parents, we're going to go out here by ourselves. Yeah, that's a problem. But she gave it to him. That's what his mother is saying. His mother is saying, I didn't know that he was out there drinking with her. Whitney, they went swimming at Warriors Path in Kingsport, and pharmacy was the Walgreens on Fort Henry and Moreland in Kingsport, Tennessee. Okay. Soldier Girl, DW and CB at 110 Ben Hill Road. Red truck seen it. Yeah, what's up with the red truck? I've heard so much about the red truck, but then Nick Barris said yesterday there is nothing verified here. They're not saying anything.
Right. They're just wanting the driver of that truck just to question. It's not a person of interest or anything like that.
Okay. But, the parents certainly ran with it.
Yep.
I wish this person...
And so has a lot of social media. The groups that I'm in, it just spreads like wildfire with nothing to back it up whatsoever.
Well, the public's the last to know. That's how it is. We just go back and forth and we're like, oh my God, a red truck. And then, all these people in the community are like, well, I know such as the red truck, which to me, that's dangerous behavior. Someone overheard on the scanner, teen was pulled over with truck fitting the description. Where is this? And when was this yesterday? Because that's already been disputed.
I saw that too. But, and I do believe they could have heard it on the scanner, but the people in the groups were running with it. They were saying that the VIN came back and was registered to somebody on the same road, and that they had a person of interest that was being questioned right now. And none of it has been proven to be fact that I can find.
If anybody wants to come up and chat with me and Brandy, grab the link. Okay, Soldier Girl, do you live in Tennessee or that area? Because Tennessee's a big state. Yeah, I kind of think that the boy's mother should be doing something.
Well, she's too busy fighting with Jeremy to worry about anything else.
I'll never understand why people are more focused on social media than
I don't either.
their own little corner of the world. I'll never get it.
That's why it's kind of mind blowing to me how upset people get if they're not on social media. You know, I'm like, because I'm the one that's telling people, get off social media. You know, your child's missing. You've got other things to do than appease the public on social media.
Well, and I mean, and the thing is, I mean, if I'm missing my child, okay, I would go to social media, have this on, I would give the details, look for my child. But once it's in the authorities' hands, I don't know. I wouldn't argue with numbskulls.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't either. There's no way.
Oh. But once it's in the authorities' hands, turn off your YouTube app, Steph.
Hello?
Hey, Steph, how's it going today?
Not too bad.
Oh.
Not too bad. I'm not echoing, am I?
Yeah, turn off your YouTube app, Steph.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah. So what's going on?
I just something since day one it has bugged me. I think there's more than just the parents and the grandma involved with this disappearance of Summer. I think there's many involved. What's going on? I mean, you got the mother and the father. I'm wondering if she was taken or disappeared or what they did to her days before she actually disappeared. Because
she was swimming that day. We have video of it. It's been verified. She was swimming earlier that day.
So she was actually at that swimming hole.
Yep, we talked about this last week when you were on panel. She was there.
She was there. That's 100% positive that video was not pre-recorded beforehand.
I don't know that Candace knows how to pre-record, and I don't know that she has that capability. I have no idea.
So,
according to him, according to his mother, they were swimming earlier that day. They went to the pharmacy. There was things going on earlier that day.
Okay. So we know 100% verified she did go swimming that day in that swimming hole.
I can't 100% verify anything because I didn't see them swimming in the swimming hole. And
I understand that. But has investigators verified that she was there at that swimming hole that day?
Nope. We've only seen the video that was posted on TikTok. And we have seen we have read what his mother said.
Okay. Because, I know that video was taken on supposedly taken on June the 15th, the day of her disappearance.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw that a woman was able to check out the timestamp by, I don't know what app she used, but that video was supposedly posted at 12:45 that day that she went missing.
Yeah.
12:46.
Yes, I think that was Tiffany Marie was saying that. I'm just trying to piece everything together that day. Cause I just don't believe the story that they're given. I don't. I'm not a parent, but if I had a child or children, I would make sure everybody's in the house safely together before I walk off somewhere. I would make sure the house is secure, that all the doors were locked, except for one area, the one main door to go into. It just seems that some she did not leave that swimming hole. I don't think she left that swimming area. That's my
Well, I mean, they have a picture of her that was taken that day with the two milk jugs sitting in the back seat. That was after the swimming hole.
yeah, but a lot of people are saying that that isn't actually a video from that day.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't prove that either,
That's true.
because the people that are saying that are just members in groups and they don't know. They just want to be right.
Okay. I'm
No, I mean,
sorry.
I would really watch. I mean, coming out and saying, "Oh, this was done from days before" and things like that. I mean, I would really watch that. If you say, "Well, it's my opinion, this could have happened before," but I think Donald would have mentioned that she'd been gone for days.
So you think the father had anything to do with her disappearance? It's just strictly my opinion. The mother and the grandmother, and possibly the teen, knows what actually happened to her.
Oh, I think somebody that day knows what happened to her. I don't think.
I think if they've done something, the three of them know: grandma, mom, and dad. If they've done something.
So it's just their mannerism, and they keep on talking in summer and past tense.
Right.
That's what gets me. You don't talk about a missing child in past tense. You say, she is the princess. She was the princess. If you have a child missing, you don't use that child in past tense unless you know they are gone. Everything that comes out of our mouth about Summer is always past tense. And that, to me, they know she's gone. Past tense.
Or they correct themselves. They'll say she was, and they'll say, I mean, I loves, or something like that. I don't get it.
That's what throws me, is the fact that when you use present tense and then you correct yourself to turn it into past tense.
It just, I'm sorry. It's just, this case just boggled me. When I, in my early 20s, I was very close to a young little girl. She was a sweetheart, always at the bowling alley, always got her treats. She was a sweet girl named Jessica. And the one night I didn't go, her father abducted her. Her uncle abducted her, beat her, raped her, and dumped her body up on the mountain here in West Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So wow. This kind of stuff really hits close to home to me.
Hey, no excuses, Overcomer. Will you get the link and tell us what you're seeing?
I mean, it has been confirmed by two ladies I have talked to that are in that area that there are lots of cave systems in that area too, where the swimming hole is. And I'm just wondering if any of the investigators have actually gone into those cave systems near the swimming hole where she is at. Because I know the name of the park where she was at. And I asked two ladies who live in that area, I said, are there actually cave systems near there? And she goes, yes, there is one right near there that people know about. So I think it's kind of interesting when Candace was on the interview that they're not going to find her in this area, they're not going to find her in the woods. How does she know that? How do they know they're not going to find Summer in the woods?
They
Well,
don't.
she did say that. She did say that. She's like, no, she wouldn't go there. Her dad even said she wouldn't have gone off that hill. They keep saying the dad at least keeps saying she was abducted. She was abducted. She was abducted. And then the interview. Mom says in 2 minutes. Kids get away from you fast when, they're going to get something. But as far as someone getting into the basement, grabbing her without her making a noise, crazier things have happened. Just saying.
But it's kind of suspicious when Candace says they're not going to find her in the woods. What does she mean by that? They're not going to find her. She says that in the interview.
Oh, Christina, you're right. She's been missing for 2 weeks. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. TBI is now saying they believe she was abducted. Exactly, Cola.
Yeah.
Where was Summer from when they got back from swimming to when they called 911? We've heard about flowers, getting a piece of candy, taking her to the porch. Brothers are watching TV. She went to the basement, and in 2 minutes, gone. Okay, thank you, Christina. Not abducted. Brothers are watching TV. No excuses. Can you grab this link? There's a link I'm posting right now. If you click on that, I was going to ask you some questions.
I mean, I just hope they find her. If she is out there, I'm not trying to be discouraging or hoping that the little baby is gone, but that little girl deserves a proper burial. If she is somewhere out in those woods or wherever her little body is, she deserves that.
Well, we're all discouraged because we have all these different stories, this side circus, and the fact that you can't find this child.
I mean, I'm not trying to be.
Hold on 1 second, okay, Steph, hang on.
Okay.
Hi there, no excuses.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good. So what you were saying makes sense. What are you saying about the picture where she was in the back seat?
So if you look at the picture in the back seat, if you look at her fingertips, it's you can look at the color, and they're like a darker color, and the rest of her skin is very pale, which is like a pale color.
Can you speak up just a little bit? For some reason, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better for me. Can you hear her, Brandy?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So if you look at her fingertips, they're a darker color, where the rest of her skin has what we call a paler color, which is very pale. And then her lips, I know somebody said that she had on lipstick, but that doesn't look like lipstick because it goes to complete circular of her lip, and it goes directly to where your capillary refill will be, which is the very lining of your lip. It looks very staged to me, because if she was asleep, she would be falling a little more forward, or she wouldn't just be completely reclined the way that she is. Because especially in the car movement, if you look at the camera as it flips back and forward and the car is moving, her body would have been moving because she's in a relaxed state. But if she's in stage like that, her body wouldn't move because it's more rigorous. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm not a medical professional at all. No.
I am, and that's why it caught my attention. It's the picture that's really stood out in my mind, because I am a healthcare provider, and I was just looking at all that stuff, and you're looking at any of the areas where you would have blood flow return and go back. as your body shuts down, you start losing it primarily in capillary refills, which is fingertips, toes, lips, ears, those kind of areas, because it's going to try to pull your blood supply back to your primary organs as things are shutting down.
I don't know. What was the temperature there that day? Does anyone know? Because I was surprised at what she was wearing after the swimming hole.
When I looked it up, it was a high of 82 degrees, which is very, very cold for this area. I live in Alabama. It's
Okay.
83 degrees here today, and the low was a 70. So I'm really surprised that she was even swimming because the water here is kind of cold.
Okay, my daughter, she wears jackets. Like it's freaking 80 degrees here today, and she's wearing a jacket.
I have a teenage son. It can be 500 degrees outside, and he has on a hoodie.
Yes, kids are weird.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to suffocate.
Well, I mean, when you get done swimming, I mean, of course, I mean, sometimes you're cold. I mean, not really here because, I mean, as soon as I get out of the pool, I mean, I'm like almost instantly dried off, except for this week because it's rained every single day.
Yeah, we have a swimming pool, and we'll get out of the pool, and we'll come inside and put on jogging pants and maybe like a long sleeve shirt until you get warm. So I can understand why she was dressed the way she was if she did go swimming that day. I can understand her having the jacket on and long pants. I get that part. It's just the appearance of her body is what caught my attention. And I will admit, I have been addicted to this case because something just drew me to it. And I have a husband who's in law enforcement, and I'm driving him crazy because I'm asking him 1,000 questions. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? You know, because
what
I'm
is
like,
he saying?
Right. Well, he's tired of me asking, so he really doesn't answer anything. He just tells me that he finds it very difficult to believe that the parents haven't been arrested because there's enough suspicion there because they're the last person to see him, and the last person to see him is usually the person who caused it, and just that he has very low hope that she'll be found alive. And he said it's somebody within the family.
Well, I mean, and that's normally what the authorities run off of. It's someone in the family, especially as little as she is.
Right.
My thing is that when Candace said to Ashley Daniels, it was 2 minutes. And that could just be a generalization, or it seemed like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes she was away from me, out of my sight for 2 minutes.
And that's the Southern saying. We'll say like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, or whatever. And
I say it all the time too. Nothing's ever in miles. It could be 50 miles away, and I'll say it's like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
So I kind of get that. I get that. But when you're speaking about your child's disappearance, you be goddamn exact. There's no generalizations. There's no, she went to get a piece of candy. I walked her to the porch. The brothers were watching her. They were watching TV. What were they watching?
Right.
What were they watching on TV? And then she went downstairs to play with toys, and 2 minutes later, she was gone.
Yeah. And so here's the other thing. I'm a mom of 6 kids. I get the stuff with the kids. But I also live out in the deep country. If my mother's camper is 20 feet from my house, I'm going to stand at the camper and she says she's going in the house. Okay, fine. She's going in the house. I've seen her go in the house. I'm not going to walk her 15 feet and watch her walk in the door. That didn't make any sense. That's providing more details to take the spotlight off of yourself. And then she's going to say that she had to run somewhere. Look, I'm not one to see you running nowhere. And then to say 2 minutes, I mean, I would say probably 30 minutes, an hour later, I may have been going back to check on her. But if it's 2 minutes, then why are you not trusting those other children to, I don't know. And it's not the children's responsibility to watch her in the first place. But there's just a lot of things like I've heard my husband say before, some people call 911 to provide information, other people call 911 to get help. And I feel like this was to provide information, if that makes sense to anybody else. But
It does. Oh, Electro. They just found a toddler's body in, hang on. In Atlanta River. Can anyone find out if it's anything to do with Summer Wells? Oh. Yeah, Aggie, we don't know what the candy was. I don't know. I mean, in cases when children are truly missing, I'm going back to Vady. When she was with her grandma, they were walking the dog got away. This was in Alabama. This is in your part, okay? No excuses. Remember Vady? Long red hair. Yes.
I'm very good friends with her mom, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how's Vady doing?
She's great. She's fabulous. She doesn't run away anymore.
She doesn't run away anymore. Okay. Grandma told him exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Mom and Dad. Now, if I'm wrong about this, no excuses, tell me. Mom and Dad offered to take lie detector tests. They were told not needed.
Right.
Same with Grandma. They believed Grandma. Grandma couldn't get to Vady chasing the dog. She couldn't see her in the woods. She got help. And how long was it until they found Vady and her puppy?
They found her after 2 nights in the woods. So they found her on the 3rd day. And the dog, somebody heard the dog whimpering. And they knew that the dog had not left her. And so they came to her, and when the searchers got to her, she looked at them and said, "Oh man, you just saved my life. I couldn't find my way back, but I couldn't leave the dog, and the dog wouldn't leave her. So they ended up wandering in the woods for 2 nights and 3 days. But she was very dehydrated.
Yeah, I knew she was in the hospital. Of course she was. But what I'm saying is they had the details. Even when Elizabeth Smart.
And that's the thing. They only gave the details that was needed to get the search started. They didn't add all the other stuff. And to me, that's always an alarm bell, because you add all this other stuff.
But these stories keep changing. And the details never change.
Right.
Details never change.
That's the first sign. When the story starts changing, that's the first sign that something's not right. And why didn't she call 911? If she's the one at the house, why didn't she call 911? Why didn't she call her husband?
And that's actually one I mean, I will say that. I mean, it's just kind of a natural reaction for some women to reach out to their husband like, oh my God, what do I do? Because you don't want to call your husband and say, hey, I had to call 911 because I'm missing our child.
Well, also, I heard that they are in a complete dead zone and there is no service. Like, you can't even get 911 off the phone. And that does happen. Like, when I first moved to where I'm at now, I lived in a place, but I honestly thought that this only happened in scary movies, but I didn't get a cell connection for 20 miles in either direction. So I kind of believe that she probably was out in the middle of nowhere and had no way to call them. So she called her husband on Messenger.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, so they were doing it off of Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay. No, see, that's the first time I've heard that. So that does make me feel better.
I honestly, like, I didn't hear that. I just I saw somebody explaining it. And when they did, I was like, oh, okay, that does kind of make sense, because I've been there. Like, I lived in this spot for 6 months, y'all, and I hated it. I had no cell, no internet, nothing like that. Like, I can't believe she had internet.
Right. And I know AT&T will set up FirstNet in dead places. Like, they come there and they set that up at AT&T FirstNet for the police officers to get their repeater for the radios. And they'll provide that for law enforcement. But, I guess I was thinking everywhere had phone service now. They may not have internet like at my house, but they had phone service.
The police must have the camera footage from the hospital, Walgreens, and food shopping, etc. Oh, I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah, all of those, all of where they stopped is probably accounted for, or if it's not, they're not telling us.
Yeah, that's something that's going to be kept close to the
Right.
investigation. Just need that to validate people's story, because people will try to confess to get 5 minutes of fame sometimes, which I think is really weird. But
Well, and a lot of people are talking about the heat, the humidity. Of course, we know about the terrain. That's been explained. So how's a 5-year-old child going to walk out in that? Her dad said she would never leave that hill. They're both saying she was abducted.
yeah,
Somebody was around her that day that knows where she went, whether it was from the swimming hole, from the house.
I wonder, is there any information on that Chris Marcos, that guy? Was he still there during that time? I haven't really heard anybody say.
I've heard 2 different stories.
I was gonna say I've heard conflicting stories on that.
Yeah,
I heard he was digging a fence line, and I heard that he's been in Wisconsin the whole time. Come on.
yeah. And that's kind of both stories that I've heard, and I was like, we're really not sure what happened to him, and still over for Candy. And Candy could be a name for a lot of different things. I was just curious. I don't know. It's not somebody I would want around my kids. Just saying.
Whitney, please clear up. It's hot here. I'm sure it was hot that day.
All right, guys. Well, I'm just had to drop off. Thanks for inviting me in to discuss the hut.
No problem.
And I look forward to y'all's other shows. I usually watch them, but get to talk very much.
All right, we'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Aggie, what are you saying on, hang on the voice box with Judy? Oh, Summer says she never planted. Oh, okay. Well, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this up. As more things.
Yeah, I'm like walking around getting dressed for work and trying to clean while.
So what we'll do is, you guys, if you could subscribe and hit the bell when we're going to go live, you'll get a notification. We can actually do like a backstage if you guys want to continue chatting and things like that. We can do that anytime. And like I said, as soon as we have a live coming up, it's usually posted on the page. In the summer group, which is really small, and it's technically not our group, but basically any format that we have, we post the link.
Yes.
Of course, on YouTube. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Oh, thanks, Soldier Girl. Yeah, please subscribe to the channel. All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.